Hey guys, this is your lesson on the Louisiana Purchase. As you can see in this map, the Louisiana Purchase is what is in green. So it is going to be this whole area right about here. Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Territory from France in 1803. Thomas Jefferson was our third president. Prior to becoming president, he was most known for writing the Declaration of Independence, which was signed on July 4th, 1776. The map to the right is a map of Europe. France is a country that is colored in green. Again, France is a country that Thomas Jefferson bought the Louisiana Territory from in 1803. Why do we care? The Louisiana Purchase doubled the size of the United States. Below we have two maps, one from 1800 and the other from 1803. If we look at the map from 1800 first, we can see that it really only shows land east of the Mississippi River. All this land still didn't belong to the United States, but most of it did. This was considered the United States in 1800. Now after Thomas Jefferson buys the Louisiana Territory in 1803, the United States doubles. If we look at the second map, you can see that outlined area in the darker green. That is Louisiana Territory. The United States now owns that as well as those darker orange states along the Atlantic coast. Those light blue states are going to be territories that the United States slowly adds in until about the 1850s. The United States does not own Spain yet, which is why it is in, or Florida yet, which is why it is in that light orange color. That is owned by Spain. Meriwether Lewis and William Clark were sent to explore the land. While on their expedition, they kept really detailed journals and diaries, and they wrote Thomas Jefferson letters. All of these diaries, journals, letters included information about the land, the geography, wildlife, plants, animals, and Native Americans. Everything they encountered, they wrote about. They did this so that they would know what was there. Nobody had been there before. So this information was useful to Thomas Jefferson because it said what the land could be used for, what types of natural resources were there that would benefit the United States. Lewis and Clark explored the Louisiana Purchase and the Oregon Territory from the Mississippi River to the Pacific Ocean. On the next slide, we're going to be looking at a map of Lewis and Clark's expedition. While we look at that map, I want you guys to think of two questions. First one is, in addition to the Mississippi River, what two rivers did Lewis and Clark explore? Second one is, what geographic regions did Lewis and Clark travel through on their expedition? Alrighty, so here is the map. We can see that this is the Louisiana Purchase, and over here is the Oregon Territory. Our first question said, in addition to the Mississippi River, what two rivers did Lewis and Clark explore? So we know that the Mississippi River is going to be right along this line, and we're looking for another two rivers. I'm not going to give you the answer, but you can use your notebook. What I will remind you of, though, is the sentence we use to help us remember our rivers. So it is candy, covered, rabbits, make my organs sick. Again, we're just looking for the rivers that Lewis and Clark would have used. So this was candy. Well, we know that they explored in the Oregon Territory, so we know that one of the rivers must start with a C. So candy, covered, rabbits, make. Our next river that's going to be in their territory has to start with the letter M. So we're looking for a river that starts with the letter C and one that starts with the letter M. The next question asks you to think about those geographic regions they would have gone through. Again, we're looking at just Lewis and Clark. So we're looking at the geographic regions that are going to be west of the Mississippi River. And our sentence frame for the geographic regions was cookies, bake, really gooey in Canada and the coastal plain. So we're looking for a region that starts with C, cookies, one that starts with B, bake, one that starts with R, really, and one that starts with G, gooey. Cookies, bake, really, gooey. Those are going to be our four regions that are west of the Mississippi River. You're going to answer a few short questions following this, and then you're going to watch a short little video and answer a few more questions.
When Jefferson was sworn in as president in 1801, he pledged to reduce the size and scope of the national government. But of course, things didn't go exactly as he had planned. Spain secretly transferred the Louisiana Territory to France right beneath Jefferson's nose. When Congress found out, they quickly began discussions with France to buy a piece of the territory along the Mississippi River for about $2 million. But there was one little problem. Jefferson knew there was no provision in the Constitution to buy foreign territory. So what was a strict constructionist to do? First, he tried to get an amendment to the Constitution passed that would expressly permit the purchase, but Congress wasn't willing to do it. Then, without permission, the U.S. negotiators in France cut a deal for all of the territory for a cool $15 million. That new land doubled the size of the nation. Now Jefferson was really stuck. He knew that the territory would be a great acquisition for the country, providing lots of new land for farmers and other settlers, but how could he constitutionally justify it? In the end, Jefferson turned to the argument used by his old foe, Alexander Hamilton. He claimed that the power to purchase the territory is implied in the Constitution's treaty-making power. This was the exact argument that he had mocked openly a decade before, so it must have crushed his pride to have to use it. But more importantly, he may have committed the biggest big government play ever. How ironic is it that one of the biggest opponents of big government doubled the size of the young country and did so while openly questioning its constitutionality? At $15 million, which is about 3 cents an acre, it has been called by many the greatest real estate deal in the history of the United States.